All right, everybody, Faiz, Versey here, real estate broker with LePage Team Realty in Ottawa, and welcome. I've got a very interesting presentation for you today. If you would like to find out about what's going on in the Ottawa real estate market as of November 2023, please do hang around. What we're going to talk about now is where we've been, where we are today, and perhaps where we're going to be in the next few months. Now, before I get into that, please do remember, as I say every time, that looking into the short-term future is really just for fun, just for entertainment, so don't take it too seriously. Real estate, remember, is a long-term asset. That said, let's get into the presentation. So this is the key graph that I want to share with you, which will pretty much give us the picture of where we've been, where we are today, and what we can see coming down the road most probably. So let's look at this graph, and we can look at these red bars here, which represent 2022. So these red bars here, and the graph we're looking at is entitled the average sale price. So if we look at 2022, we started off the year very sharply, very sharply, maybe that's correct. So we started off the year in a boisterous way where the average sales price went up quite dramatically in the first few months. Then we started getting some news about potential interest rate rises, and the market started to simmer. And then we actually got the interest rate rises. We got the bulk of it in June and July, and then boom, the market, the real estate market, the average sale price just collapsed sort of. And we had a pretty dismal year after that. So as you can see, there's two halves, however you pronounce it, to this year. So if you can see my cursor there, I'm circling the first half where we had a boisterous year and then boisterous part of the year, and then the second half where it all fell out of the skies basically because of the interest rates having gone up in the middle part of the year quite sharply. So we started off well, we ended the year very quietly. Then in 2023, we started the year very softly because we were coming out of the quiet period that 2022 had created. And then initially we started to rise quite nicely. And then again, we had this year 2 interest rate hikes, I think in June and July. And that again brought the market down a little bit. But what's happening now, and this is the crux of everything that I want to speak with you about today, is that we're starting to see somewhat of a recovery. Now, what does all of this mean? Let me just step back again to 2022. When the interest rates rise, when the Bank of Canada raises the interest rates, they take some time to work through the economy. So yes, we did see a drop in the prices last year. This year we started to see recovery, and then again we saw a drop because of further interest rate increases. I think that the effect of all those interest rates is now baked in the market, is baked in the cake, and the buyers are now coming out and deciding to purchase homes, which in other words, they will support the market. So Ottawa real estate market is actually a very buoyant market. We have a very strong undercurrent of demand. We have a shortage of supply. And now the interest rates have done their bit. They've gone up very sharply, and we are sitting at this 5% level for the last few months. I think it's time now that the buyers are saying, let's go out and just carry on with our lives. So for example, I do lots of open houses. And this month, in the month of November, I would say most of the open houses that I have done. So you see, I'm in this market day and night, down on the ground. So I understand a lot of these things, not just in theory, but in practically what's happening out there. And so in most of my open houses, I've had a good turnout. Now remember, people who show up in an open house are not just there because they have nothing better to do. They're there to buy a house. So these are actual buyers. Whether they buy that house or another house is a different story, but it shows that the buyers are out there and are looking at houses and are interested to purchase. So my feeling, and again, I'm going to say this again, this is a short-term prediction. Who knows if this comes right, is that the market has seen its bottom and the correction is over. The correction that we've experienced in the past year or so. That was a pretty serious correction. Like if you go back to March of 2022, the peak of this cycle, this recent cycle, was 739,000. And now we are sitting at 644,000. So that's approximately a 15% decline. So if you're a buyer watching this, my friend, this is an excellent time for you to buy. I mean, 15% discount in property is fantastic. Just like when you go to the bazaar and you want to buy a shirt, perhaps you see it initially at $100 and 2 months later it's 15% off. And if you want the shirt, you'll go, wow, let me buy that. That's 15% off. Well, why not have the same thinking for property? So property now is showing a very good discount. If you're a buyer, please do think about it. Come and speak with me. Let's talk about getting you into a home so that you can stop paying the landlord your expensive hard-earned money and making the landlord rich. Stop paying rent, get into your own home. For sellers, what does all this mean? Well, for sellers, I've always said this is a It's a purpose market. What are you selling for? Decide that, think about it, and then if you have to sell, do come and talk to me, and I'll work with you to my best of my ability to get you the best possible price and to sell the house in the fastest possible time, and depending on the market conditions at that point in time. So going forward, I think we're going to start seeing a gradual improvement in the prices. Now, all of this will turn to dust if our good friend, the Bank of Canada, decides to raise interest rates again. That could happen anytime. Well, then this forecast, the short-term forecast, is totally off. So there we go, my friends. I hope you found that of interest. There is more things, but let's leave it at that. I think that pretty much covers everything that you need to know at this point in time. So please do me a favor, as you've gone through this video and now you know a bit more about what's happening in the market. Please do share this with your friends. Please do like and subscribe. When you do that, the video goes out into the algorithm likes that and sends the video out into the universe to potentially other people who may want to hear more about this topic. My friends, if I can be of any help to you in buying and selling, feel free to reach out to me. My telephone numbers, information is all over the web, so that should be very easy. I look forward to being of service, and if you have any questions on what we discussed today, by all means reach out to me. I'll be delighted to help you. Until I speak with you again, take care. Bye-bye.